All right, we're live. Welcome to episode, I believe it's number 15 of the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi podcast. Again, this is Xiao Dai, and we have
Gaza.
Gaza. Well, there's quite a few things to get through this week, so let's get into it. I want to just say that I think we're going to cover the Gosei, the Japanese Senko Cup final, the YK Construction Cup final, the Myungin elimination round one. That's the losers bracket, and the GX Caltex Cup semifinals, the Yi League, the Transatlantic League, and the Hard Chanseok Gifted Tournament final, and
And
also
also the Meijin
the
League.
the Meijin. Yes, don't ever forget the Meijin. So let's get started. Now, what happened in Gosei? That happened 6 days ago now.
Yeah, it feels like a month ago
Yeah,
with how much professional go there's been this week.
yeah,
But yeah, on Saturday,
yeah,
so it would have been the 16th, the Gosei game 2 was played.
yeah,
And Iyama won this game.
yeah.
Um, and he won the first game, so he's now 2-0 ahead.
Yep.
And it's a best of 5. So in Japan, Ichiriki Rio, his opponent, would be in Kataban, you would call it.
Right.
At least that's what they call it in sumo wrestling. That means one more loss and you're finished.
You're gone.
You're out.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the Gosei is the final is 4 hours aside with 5 1 minute Byoyomis.
Yeah.
It's a 1 day game.
Mm.
And this happened. Gosei game 1, as we said, Iyama won, but it was played, I think, over 3 weeks prior to
Right.
this game. So they had a long break between games.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not really sure. I did follow the game, but yeah, again, I'm not really sure exactly where Ichiriki went wrong. He did. I
Yeah.
think he did fairly well in the opening, especially in the bottom left corner.
Yeah. That's right.
So in this, just to be clear, Ichiriki is
White.
white.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Yuta is black. Um. Yeah. So I mean I did remember just looking at the game a little bit afterwards, and I think yeah, as you said, this bottom left hand side over here. Yeah, it was Yama is black, so apparently this move was not the best. Um, and I checked AI. AI's got a really interesting way of playing at this point. And that move is cut over here. And I think the idea is that AI says that Yama should sacrifice these stones in a really nice way. So that you kind of maximize the residual value of these instead of trying to play here, play the extend. So yeah, so like I guess the idea if you cut here, I guess Ichiriki can't really Atari this way, obviously, right? So that's the only way that Ichiriki can Atari. Um, so yeah, so basically if you play it right over here, then you see how this white group is not alive, and then this black group is kind of still there. Probably have to play something like this. Yeah, so if you sacrifice it in a really interesting way, then you can get a lot out of it. But let's look at actually what happened. This is actually also very interesting. So Ichiki went for the kill, and basically the black group just got killed. It's a class. I guess this would be a good life and death problem. But anyway, the black's basically dead. Um, and then after this, I think Yama. What's really interesting is that Yama actually find the kind of the right idea to kind of play, because if you look at this white group over here, even though it's killed this, it's not alive. So Yama just played here and then played some Sente here. This is a beautiful move. Um, Now apparently, if white doesn't play right over here, later on you see that you can get captured. Yeah. So basically, Yama found the right idea, which is to kind of try to start a fight, and then if this fight somehow develops into something really complicated, it might impact this white group, which is not alive. And I think that's exactly what happened. It's just really interesting over here. Yeah, so I think this move is necessary. Otherwise, black could actually capture the tail by clever throw in. So I think it's something like if white play here or something. I think it's like come over here, you have to block, and then you Atari. When you Atari, just throw in like this. Yeah. So yeah, it's gone. So it's very, very tricky. But anyway, so just keep fighting. Now, you see here, Ichiriki actually played this white group to try to connect these two white groups. Apparently, AI says that's kind of the wrong idea. I guess I can understand why Ichiriki played this, because by connecting these two white groups, you kind of only have one group to deal with. But apparently, white should play somewhere around here to just make sure this white group is safe and got some points. And apparently, there's no way that black can capture this white group. Like white can still come out. So it's actually really, really interesting the way it's played. Yeah. So very so. But I think Ichiriki. This looks like it's not connected, right? Because cut. But this jump connects the two. You can no longer disconnect them, I don't think. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
So even if like this, Atari of course, yeah. So that's quite interesting. But anyway, I guess unless you're AI or it's really hard to kind of find the right idea. But anyway, Iyama again played it beautifully. He found the right idea, which is to move out this one. Yeah, it just got really complicated.
It does seem to be a habit, though. I mean, the better players tend to find the right ideas more often.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't say Ichiriki is definitely inferior to Iyama, but
but I guess the also strong players, especially players like Shin Jinseo, not to bring him into the conversation, but strong players will try to create more complicated positions where it's harder to find the right idea.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me that Iyama actually ended up finding like two of the good ideas, and so by this point you realize that actually this white group is not 100% alive, right? This white group obviously isn't alive, but this black group is also not alive. So it's almost like a capturing race. And even when Ichiriki resigned, it's still very complicated to me, which is like amateur player. So I think that's when they resigned. Yeah, so
to me it's very hard to see that white is the one that's dead here. But AI agrees that white is dead. Black was actually apparently ahead by about. I mean, the white groups here are they're just dead. There's no Seki or anything. They're just dead. So black's actually ahead by about 70 points.
Yeah, but actually, if you look at the situation, right? Notice this black group over here. That's not alive, right? That's not alive. It's not alive.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's hard to see.
Yeah, this black group here is not alive, right? So, actually, black. If it's black's move, black still has to Atari here to kind of connect and kill this white group. So by playing here, but apparently Ichiriki can see it, like maybe just this white group doesn't have enough liberties, like because black can Atari, so white maybe has to play something like this, and so and then set up some kind of capturing race. But I think it's just a lost cause. But to me, there's some really beautiful moves that Iyama played. Just the cut here and finding the right idea here, just overall very impressive way to play. It feels like it was running, both sides are running a tight rope, but ended up just very interesting game. I do find that Japanese title matches, maybe because they're slower, you have more time to look at it, they kind of become quite a bit more interesting, even though I guess they may not be as strong as the Korean players or whatever, but it's still a very interesting game to look at. That's it. But so it's it's extremely interesting in that Ichiriki just can't seem to win against Iyama.
No, he's now lost his last 6 games against Iyama.
Yeah.
He lost the Haninbo 4-0, and now he's on the verge of losing the Gosei 3-0.
Yeah, which is nuts. Considering Ichiriki took the title, Kisei title from Yama 4-3. So he is capable of winning against Yama. Just hasn't happened in the last 6 games, which is a little bit of strange.
It seems like it could be some sort of mental factors, but
Right.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Let's see if Gosei will be another duck egg for Ichiriki. But let's move on. Let's stay in Japan. Let's go to the Senko Cup final. Now, this Senko Cup is very, very unexpected, wasn't it?
This was a crazy. I mean, everything about this was quite fantastic.
Yeah.
You've got, so to preface this,
Yeah.
almost, the majority, almost like every final in the past 2 years, every women's title match in the past 2 years has featured either Asami or Fujisawa Arena.
Yeah.
This one featured neither of them. Both of them lost in the semifinals.
Yes.
Falling to Nakamura Sumire, the prodigy that everyone has been talking about since she turned pro, and New Eiko.
Yeah.
Not as well known as Nakamura, but definitely one of the top 10 women players in Japan.
Yeah.
I think she's competed in some internationals as well.
Yeah.
And one other thing, neither of them have won a title before. So someone was going to win their first title. New Eiko has played in the Senko Cup final before.
Yep.
She was the runner-up 4 years ago, losing to, I think it was Fujisawa Arena.
Right.
That she lost to. Let me just quickly check. I'll get back to you on that. But she was 5 years prior, she was also a finalist in the women's Kisei.
Oh, wow.
Where she lost to Ji Yimin.
Yeah.
So this is actually her third final, but it's her second Senko Cup final. Actually, in the third Senko Cup 4 years ago, she lost to Manami Now.
Right.
A very famous player.
Yep. Now, for those that would be interested on the Go To Everyone page, there's the knockout table. So
yes.
Yeah. So basically, I guess it's a huge surprise that Yuno Asami and Fujisawa Arena got both knocked out, and New Eiko actually ended up playing Nakamura in the final. Now,
So like I said, this is New Eiko's third final.
Yeah.
In her career.
Yeah.
She lost the previous two. This is Nakamura Sumire's second final.
Yeah.
Of course, very recently she made the women's Meijin final.
Yeah.
Which is, particularly notable because she had to win a league to make that final. So, you can't really get lucky like in a knockout. You have to be consistently good to make the final of that. Unfortunately, she did lose to Fujisawa Arena in that one.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in her second final. New Eiko is in her third final, and both of them are looking to get their first title. And as you can see there, it went to New Eiko, but the game was quite an interesting one.
Yeah. Do you want to look at any of the Kifus?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to look at the Kifu of this game.
Which one is it? The final?
Yeah, the final.
Yeah, okay, let's look at the final. Now, I have to say, I did check through this with AI, and I find it difficult to understand why why that was the losing move. That that yeah that yeah Sumire made. But yeah, is there any particular move you want to look at? So in this one, Sumire is black, Eiko is white. Yeah, so ended
Yes.
up fighting really heavily at the beginning. Yeah, so this.
I think so here. I think the AI really didn't. I think P7 was considered when was P7 played?
P7,
Yeah. So move 96.
yeah, 96, yeah,
The AI did not like that move.
yeah,
Um,
uh,
um, it seems like a very natural move.
yeah,
You want to connect your white
yeah, save the stones, yeah.
stones, but
I do wonder where does AI suggest it to
yeah,
play.
yeah. No, I'll have a quick look now. The AI suggests playing at N7 to cut
N7.
and basically start a co.
Oh yes. Um, to be honest, that does look better to me.
It also suggests just ignoring that and playing at G3 instead of
G3.
N7. Oh, but that's just making some exchanges first. It
Oh,
still it still comes back to N7 later. So it
yeah,
likes N7
yeah, okay.
instead of P7.
So where's white's code thread?
Um
Uh, let's
I
turn
don't
on
think
let's turn on
well
the
no
AI.
well white what there isn't really a co-threat.
Yeah,
White
so
has to
white has to
play at
connect
K5.
and connect and then connect and then
Yeah,
target.
eventually you can come back to P7.
Yeah. Yeah, alright. Yeah, eventually you have to do here, but it's just
Like yeah,
it's not
after
really.
black connects,
Yeah,
at fills in the co, white can come back to P7, I think, and
right.
and the game's still fairly even.
So I just wanted to do some exchanges first. Right. See, these are kind of the kind of subtle things that AI picks up, and I have no idea verifying if AI is actually correct or not. But uh, okay, so it just suggests that. Any other moves you want to look at? Uh,
Um,
yeah, I do. I do recall White getting into trouble over here. Um, okay, look at this whole White dragon here. Not alive, right?
yeah, yeah,
And this White got captured. So White really trying desperately to stay alive now. Yeah, it ended up trying to use this code to stay alive, I believe. Yeah, yeah. So it was a very tough game, I believe, for White over here.
I mean the AI says that black is ahead by like 20 points at this point,
Yeah,
but I mean the top left is still almost virtually untouched, so there's still
yeah,
more work.
yeah,
There's still more work to do, but
yeah.
it's
Yeah, I think White tried to fight really hard because obviously this White group is not alive. So White either has to make a move internally or win this code to stay alive. So, but I think because White
which
is
co? Which co are you talking about?
yeah over here.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
co on the top
So I
right.
think White is
Yeah.
saying that since I'm behind, I'm gonna just assume this is alive because it's got two ways to stay alive. One is so just assume it's alive and keep fighting over here. And I just noticed that now there's a cut over here, but maybe it doesn't work now. But yeah. So yeah. Okay. So comes back.
The thing is black alive in the top right?
Top right. Top right. This one. Oh, if black takes the co. Um. No. So that this black group could die. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm wondering why black doesn't play something like
No, because even if black takes, white got this thing.
yeah,
Oh, so maybe just a simple capturing race. Even though white is not alive, white's probably gonna capture black first.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I see.
So okay. Um, but of course black's got really weird stuff like this. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, probably not. So yeah,
Yeah, in the end, I
it's
think
a
Black.
capturing music. Yeah, Black will probably die. I don't see a way for Black to live.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I think
Yeah.
yeah. So I think what happened is that Sumire didn't invade White's area region in the sort of the top,
Yeah.
not the top right, but the top sort of middle,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
uh,
I think this is
well enough.
supposedly Sumiri's losing move.
Yeah, so
Or the
where
start.
should
Or the
he have
start. Or the
played
startup.
instead? I think
Now
the AI is suggesting something like G17.
yeah, I'm trying to understand what's happening here. So because obviously,
It looks like it's just RG.
yeah, no. So obviously you can capture like this, but then Black's got this move. So the cut and the Atari is Miai. So yeah, so I think that could be one of the
It is a very strange move because that stone will die.
yeah. But you see, you can play here.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about the RG now.
So if you connect, then yeah, then Black can come in a little bit. Yeah, so it's a bit yeah. It's probably I think at this point it's just about Yosei.
Yeah, it's quite complicated. Yeah,
It's very complicated, but
but I
now
think it's yeah, I think it's a you probably there's probably a way for Black to get that. Yeah, something like that, getting that H 11 stone without making bad shape.
right, yeah,
Like because she spent those 4 stones
yeah,
in the T shape there. I
yeah,
mean, she
just
didn't get very far into
yeah,
White's upper territory.
right, and she only
Yeah.
and this is potentially could just be a false eye, right? Um, yeah, so imagine if White played here, like that's a false eye. So it's not
Yeah.
so Black is not fully alive yet, not yet. So I play here,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think this
So
is just. I think this is just.
that's just good Yosei.
Yeah, suboptimal Yosei by Nakamura.
Yeah. Yes, you see,
Um,
play this beautiful move here, clamp.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting to
yes,
think that because the AI had white black at like 98%, but these Yosei moves. I mean, these are pro level moves.
yeah. So like, we yeah. I mean, I've said this before. Like, as AI gets stronger and stronger, basically, it's almost it's like an impossible standard to kind of hold the pros to, and usually like sometimes they like there's only half a point in it, but it's like 90%. So like even a
Yeah,
simple
well,
mistake
yeah,
could see it gone. So
yeah. I mean that move at F12, the
yeah,
losing move that probably lost like maybe 5 points.
yeah, probably
It
so.
wasn't like a 20. It wasn't like a move that lost a group or anything. It lost
Yeah,
5 points.
and really to see why that is such a huge loss, like how many points it lost, we have to do a serious analysis of it. So
Yeah,
it's
it may
not
not have even been 5 points to be
yeah,
honest.
it could be anything. So yeah, okay, but anyway, Sumire ended up losing
But
this game. What's
yeah,
the
but
status of this group?
I mean, the thing is, yeah, Sumire has like this game was
Yeah,
very anticipated. Like
yeah,
you could just tell there were so many like
um,
camera like journalists and photographers and stuff
yeah.
there.
Once the game finished, there was like maybe at least 10 of them inside the room.
Yeah, and like 90% of people watching the game were cheering for Sumire. I'm pretty sure she's got
Yeah,
so many fans both in Japan and in the Western world. Well, the Western, Go community,
yeah, um,
and I don't think that had any effect on her game. She's quite. I wouldn't say she choked this game. I would just say that she didn't play good enough Yosei,
yeah,
to be honest.
yeah. But
Um,
ultimately, congratulations to new Echo. She's done quite
yeah,
well. Now, I mean, it's very unrelated, but I was kind of surprised to find that she's got some connections to Gosei, um, which is a little bit of like a what do you call it? How many degrees of separation? I believe her mom, New Lily, is the assistant to Gosei. Um,
okay.
yeah, so that's
I also heard that her uncle is Michael Redmond.
oh yes, I believe Michael Redman is married to New Shen Chen, which happens to be aunt to her and is sister to her mum. So yeah,
Yeah, her
quite
mum is actually by the way,
yeah.
not just some random. She's a Chinese professional Weiqi player.
Right, yeah, yeah, she is.
I think she's
Even
a 5 Dan pro.
yeah, I believe so. It
Yeah.
says here, five
And
Dan Pro.
I think Michael Redmond is also considered to be New Echo's sort of teacher.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yes, on her Nihon Kiin page, yeah, her teacher is listed as Michael Redmond.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think in Japan it's quite important to kind of list down who your teacher is, which is not so in other areas. Do they do that in the Korean in the KBA website?
Uh, um, they do a little bit
Yeah,
in when they post news, not on the player pages that I can see, but
yeah,
on news articles when they turn pro,
yeah.
they will list who their teacher is. For instance, recently I know Wee Tae Woong,
Mm,
a 5 Dan who's fairly who's in like the top 100 in Korea.
yeah.
He was the teacher for a couple of the new pros in the adult division.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Which is yeah, I don't think I've discussed this, but in the Chinese pro qualification recently, I believe it's something like they have 20 new men players in the youth group. So youth, I think youth might be under 18 or under something, under some age, and I believe something like 18 of the 20 new pros came from the same specialist uh, college, or I don't know what you call it, institute in Hangzhou. So I believe it's also a government sponsored institute. Basically, you train there. It's based in Hangzhou. Something crazy like 90% of the new pros came from that place. And I do believe that if you make pro, you get a cash prize. I believe something in the range of 60,000 yuan. So it's quite interesting.
Okay.
So I don't think in China they would list your teacher, because I I assume you'll be taught by a lot of people, and most of your teaching comes in the form of league games. So yeah, so just to share that. Okay, so that's Senko Cup. New Eiko won her first title. Better luck next time, Sumire. So let's jump continents now and go to another very exciting final, which is the second Transatlantic League final. It's a knockout stage. The final, it was between Ryan Lee and Kevin Yang. It's a best of 5 as well. And
Yes.
unfortunately for Kevin, it went to Ryan 3-0.
Well, that would have been quite something if Kevin Yang had won it, because
Yeah,
he would have competed in half a tournament. Like technically, he would have competed in half a tournament as a pro,
yeah,
and to win a tournament without even having competed in a full tournament
right.
as a pro would be quite the interesting statistic, but not to be.
Yeah, it wasn't to be.
Clearly, Ryan Lee. I have to admit I haven't looked at the games.
Yeah.
I hope that you've at least looked at one or two of them.
Well, not
But
not not in any kind of depth, but there is the
yeah,
I,
but it does look like Ryan Lee is asserted, once again reaffirmed his status as the number one transatlantic player.
yeah. So he's won it back to back, right, which is crazy.
Yes, and I think he won all of his games except for
One
he
game
won all of
against
his matches,
yeah, one of
and
his
I think he
matches.
only lost one game to Ali Jabaran
Yes, I do
in
believe
the
that's the
league.
case. He lost only one game. And I think he talked about that in his video as well. Ryan Lee recently released a video on his on some of his Transatlantic League adventures, and it was talked about there. So in this game, black is Ryan, white is Kevin. This is game 2 of the final. So I'll skip it. I'll skip ahead to the to where the thing happened. So So they just keep playing. Okay, so to me, this black group looks very precarious, right? It's definitely
Yeah.
not alive. So even with this Atari, there's only one eye in the corner. So Atari, there's only one eye. Yeah.
Yes.
So black has to do something. So let's see what black can do. Oh, let's play here instead. Okay, didn't want to
But
kill.
you can see that black feels that there's something. I'm unsure as to why white isn't playing at A3, but then again, they're both pros.
Yeah.
So there's clearly something black can do here.
Yeah. So, but obviously we haven't analyzed it, and also white's outside maybe just isn't strong enough.
Yes, I
Yet.
think that's the case.
Okay, so he tries to play here. Okay. Okay. Now it's alive. Okay.
Yeah, now it's alive. So
Yeah.
it was obviously something with the F2
Yeah. Something outside maybe is just too
spot.
broken.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not the end of it. You see that black group ends up in trouble again. Cut. Oops. Okay, now this black group is captured, maybe almost, but black is kind of cause trouble with white in the middle.
Yeah, that white group doesn't quite have two eyes yet.
No. So oops. Whoa. Kills this. Okay. Of course, black can push through. Oh, which he does right away. Okay.
So black gets the upper left then.
Yes.
But does white? So now what happens
White.
to those stones in the middle?
Well. Okay. Let's see.
Cool.
Some fight here. Ooh. Now notice that this black group doesn't have two eyes yet.
It does look like it
Who?
should be
Well, it's
Ooh.
Kevin's going for the kill. That's not an eye. That's not a fully an eye yet because worst comes that's it's hard to imagine, but it's not out of the. Oh, it starts throwing here. Obviously, let's connect. Atari.
It's a co. Oh no, it's not a co.
Maybe just time.
I mean, it's a co, but it's not a very big co.
It maybe times 2C. Yeah, okay. Now, so yeah, black doesn't have two eyes. Atari. Ooh, black comes out like this. Connect. Ooh, cuts white off. Then what happens?
And that's it. White's dead.
Oh, gone. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's what it.
Yeah. So
I think white overplayed. I'm sure.
yeah. So there must be something that happened here.
Like I think white should. I think yeah. I think white has to just let black live at that point.
Yeah. I
But black's
I haven't
probably got
counted.
too many points.
Yeah.
Black's probably got too many points at this stage. I'm not sure who's. I'm not sure who AI favors at that point, but because black's got such a large
Yeah,
region in the upper left.
that's pretty big. It's a few points here. That's probably. Oh, that's enough for 6.5 Kumi. Something here. So that's.
Oh
Black's
yeah. I'm sure black.
white. Yeah, white. This middle is probably nowhere near as big as that, and that's this side over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White's
Well,
got.
white can still take. So this side is probably as big as just that one. A little bit. Yeah. It does look like black has a bit more. Yeah. But yeah, I obviously haven't counted properly, but
That's nice game though.
yeah, so that's pretty crazy. Now, because I do believe that Kevin Yang thought that he must have played wrong here, and that kind of affected how he performed in the third game. So I just want to just quickly look at
Were these games all played on the same day?
I do believe so. I do believe
I
so.
think they were actually.
Yeah, I think they started 1 hour early as well. It might have been like played at 2 a.m. in the morning or 1 a.m. our time. So okay, this
Our
is the
time. Yeah.
this is the third game, and this is Kevin is black and Ryan is white. So some kind of crazy flight. So Kevin Yang just jumps out. And jumps out here, cuts. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That doesn't look too bad for black.
Um. Well, I mean, black definitely has connection issues. Okay.
Yeah, black has connection issues, but is that white group in the bottom left alive?
Um. It's not yet dead. I wonder
But
if
I mean, white's not playing at B2.
yeah, like I wonder
If
if
white,
something like this works somehow.
yeah, well, that seems to work, but white didn't play that.
Yeah. So maybe just waiting for something. I don't know what happened, but let's see.
And obviously, there are bigger moves. Okay. Oh, now black plays.
No. Okay. Now white plays here.
Oh, okay.
Moves out. Okay. Now white's alive,
Yeah, white's alive. Yeah.
and now black tries to put pressure on this because obviously he played this thing over here, and white just goes okay. Just play here first. Okay. Good shape. Atari. Okay. Yeah.
Ooh,
So
nice.
um. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Riley seems very comfortable playing these types of
Um. Yeah.
like dealing with this group of white stones in the middle.
Yeah.
Like like for a Q player like me. I mean, okay, obviously this group is alive now
Yeah.
because you can easily make two eyes, but
Yeah.
I mean, for a Q player like me, I'd get nervous that my opponent would just throw it, throw black stones in the middle of it and
Yeah.
push them out and separate all my stones. And
Yeah.
Ryan Lee masterfully is
You know.
dealt with that.
Yeah. Play some nice sabaki over here.
Yeah.
So now, after doing all of this, I guess the board is still quite open, but I guess, Ryan Lee just decided, it wasn't this. It's probably not going to work out for him, so he just resigned. Kevin Yang, he just resigned over here. So this is game 3. It ended quite quickly. Move 88. So I believe his psychology must be affected by game 2.
Wait, the game finished here?
Yeah, this is where the game ended. So after white lived.
I guess he thought that if they didn't, if he couldn't kill that group in the middle, it wasn't.
Yeah, wasn't enough. Yeah, so oh well, that's what happened. End of story. So yeah, so that's the Transatlantic League final. Is meant to be best of 5, but of course Ryan Lee cleaned up 3-0. So congrats to Ryan. Yeah. Well, Kevin Yang, hopefully hope to see him again. Now apparently Kevin Yang's studies go 8 or 9 hours a day. So he's basically probably study as hard as some of the pros in Asia. So not surprised to see him being so strong.
Big things. I see big things in his future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can play against some of the pros. I mean, he did play against some of the pros in Asia in the Globus Cup, but hopefully he gets more opportunities, not just in that one tournament every year.
Yeah. So hopefully he gets to play in more. I mean, some international tournaments do have places reserved for Europeans or North Americans.
Yes, but typically, I mean, the main one that comes to mind is the Samsung Cup, but
right.
That only has, I believe, that only has one spot for Europe and one spot for North America. And I like to see Ryan Lee and Kevin Yang competing against the top pros from Asia, not just one. Yeah. So hopefully they can get involved in something like the Bing League when that returns.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Oh well. By the way, 2021 Bing League was cancelled, so there's no demotion from Yi League.
Yes,
you can only
but hopefully there will be a 2022 Bing League, even if it needs to be played online. And I really do hope that some of these transatlantic professionals participate in that.
Yeah. So do hope to see some of the professional leagues return. So that's the Transatlantic League final. And we're moving to the Weiqi Construction Cup final. So from final
So
to final
we're moving back to Asia, to Korea now.
to Korea now. Yes.
The YK Construction Cup. So this is between two best friends
Yeah.
in Korea,
Yeah.
but also two of the strongest players.
Yeah.
In Park Junghwan, Korea's number 2,
Yeah.
and Kang Dongyun, current Korean number 4.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Kang Dongyun's been rocketing up the ratings because he wasn't number 4 before, but
At the start of the year, he was out of the top 10.
yeah. So he's now made two finals, Yongseong and this one Weiqi Construction.
Yes, that's right. Yes, he actually he made the Yongseong final first, but that one hasn't been played yet.
Yeah.
And yes, so the league for the YK Construction Cup, I think it only finished last week.
Yeah.
And the final, was held sort of straight away. It was held this week.
Yeah.
It's a best of 3 final.
Yeah.
The first game, I believe, was held on Monday.
Yeah.
The second game was held on. No, sorry. Wait, let me quickly check here. Oh yes. The first game. Okay, the first game was held on Monday, and the second game was held on Tuesday, and the third game would have been held on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. So now this is game 1. Now, unless you have moments you want to show the audience, I only have one moment I want to show in this game. And
so just to quickly preface this, Kang Dongyun is black in game 1.
Yeah.
Park Junhwan is white.
Is white. So now it's at this point, I guess the board is still very open. So I mean, there's a lot of places where you can play, but apparently, next move by Park Junhwan, which I thought it's an innocuous or just normal looking move, extending from here, was a move that dropped a lot of points apparently. Now, and what's also interesting is that Kang Dongyun found the move recommended by AI, which may surprise you if you're not that strong a player. I mean, it definitely surprised me, so I'm just talking about myself. He played here.
Where did he play? Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it looks like this move is just capturing this one stone. But of course, it makes everything very thick. So, and this moment stood out to me because I really, honestly, as black, that's not really the first place I think about at all. Like, just it looks very small, but after thinking about it, actually, you see how this white group is not alive yet.
The white group. Which white group? In the bottom right.
Bottom right, and there's some RG over here. Like this black group can move out at some point. So by making this group thick, it's kind of creating opportunities to attack here and here. So, and also obviously it's so anyway, AI suggests that white should move out this one stone. I believe so, but white play here and then black play here. It shows to me that it tells me that Kang Dongyun has a really deep understanding of what's happening here, whereas Park Junhwan maybe was just in this particular case didn't have that understanding, which was very interesting. So that was game 1. It was won by Kang. I guess most people would be expecting that it's going to be a win for Park Junhwan in the final over 3 games.
Oh yes, Park Junhwan was definitely the favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely
although he did only lose one game in the league, but it was to Kang Dongyun.
Yes. So Park Junhwan won the league, I believe, because he's only got 1 loss. And Kang have 2 losses?
Yes, Kang lost to Shin Jinseo, and I think he lost his last game to Lee Ji-hyun.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So basically, Kang got 2 losses and Park only got 1. So Park won the league. But in this competition, Kang beat Park Junhwan 3 times. So that's quite crazy. So in game 2, Kang Dongyun also beat Park Junhwan to win the title. So congrats to Kang. Is there anything in the game that you wanted to point out in game 2? Because I don't remember the key for at all.
I don't even think. No, I did. I definitely watched the game, but no, I don't think there was any. It was definitely a closer game.
Right.
But nothing that. Let's just see. I don't think anything really stood out for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, Kang Dongyun won it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to mention just about the nature of the game. So, as we've mentioned before, this was a. Actually, yeah, no, it was at the very end of this game. I think it was like move 170.
Right. Okay, while waiting for that to load.
Yeah, so Park Junghwan is black and Kang Dongyun is white. Something that I do want to mention is so the very last game of the league where Park Junghwan beat Shin Jinseo to qualify for the final.
Yeah.
I mentioned that Park Junghwan was using the full minute of his allowed time every move, including at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because in this competition you had 10 1-minute Byoyomis, no main time.
Yeah.
So if you spent 55 seconds on a move, you didn't lose any of your time, allotted time.
Yeah.
And Park Junghwan did that even at the very beginning and even like when responding to an invasion. And he also did it at the start of game 1.
Yeah.
Spending a full minute for each of his moves at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I noticed he didn't do it in game 2. In fact, it looked like Kang Dongyun was spending the full minute more often.
Yeah.
I think maybe, out of frustration at being 1-0 behind, Park Junghwan wanted to make moves quickly. Like basically he wanted to get it back to even as quickly as possible.
Right.
But this was the losing move here, I believe.
The connection apparently was the losing move. That's the only thing that's the thing.
Yes, I think he had to play at the 2-2 point.
The tiger's mouth, yes.
I believe so.
And now I think the idea of the 2-2 point is that somehow if you look at the whole thing, it ends up giving black more liberties to play the curve to kind of capture this white group, because if you look at this thing here, black isn't alive on the top left. Of course, right. For black to stay alive, black has to capture these white stones. So now apparently this you have to play tiger's mouth, and that ends up having if you read through all the variations, you realize that black can come out ahead just by giving him that move actually gives him a bit more liberties. But I guess I don't think not basically it's saying that even Park Junghwan in 1 minute just can't find that, though can't go through all of those variations.
Yeah, he couldn't read everything out, and it is quite interesting to see to play out the rest of the game. There's only 14 more moves after it, because I guess if you're reading this out, even like for an amateur player, like a Q player, like me, if you go to the very end, you'll probably you may still even think that if black connects, that one stone, that looks bad for white, but it's actually perfectly fine for white.
So I think if you connect, white can push through here and push through here, and black can't cut anymore.
Yes.
So that's gone. So it's not going to happen for black. So all of the black tails got captured. It's not big enough, I guess, capturing these stones now. So that's ended up what happened. It's a bit of a surprise, but congrats to Kang.
So I wanted to I just quickly want to go over a couple of stats here. So this is Kang Dongyun's ninth career title. So that puts him equal. So that's quite quite a record he's got.
Yeah.
Before now, not many players have a winning record against Park Junghwan. Obviously, Shin Jinseo has a winning record against Park Junghwan, but there really aren't that many.
Yeah.
And you would think that players who have played, players around the same age as Park Junghwan would all have a losing record. Well, Kang Dongyun had a 10-11 record against Park Junghwan before the final. So now he has a 12-11 record.
Right.
So he now has a winning record against Park Junghwan. I'm just quickly checking here. So in Park Junhwan's let me check. His last 20 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has lost 4 times. And they have all been to Kang Dongyun.
No way.
Yes.
That's crazy.
You may actually, the last time he lost to someone that wasn't Kang Dongyun, that was that crazy. Remember that crazy time in the Korean Baduk League finals?
Yeah.
Where Kang Seung-min beat him to keep Celtrion's hopes alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a big mistake, wasn't it?
Yeah. So since then, he's lost to Kang Dongyun in the YK Construction Cup League.
3 times. Twice.
Yeah, so he's lost to him once in the league, twice in the finals, and he also lost to him in the LG Cup.
Right.
Speaking of the LG Cup, that was actually Kang Dongyun's last title before this one. And he won that 6 years ago in 2016.
Right.
And it's Kang Dongyun's first domestic title in 9 years. So 9 years ago, the title that he won 9 years ago, there used to be a Korean version of the Judan,
Yeah.
like a Korean Tendan tournament,
Yeah.
and he won that in 2013.
Right.
And he hasn't won a domestic title since until now.
Yeah.
So yeah, what a legend.
Yeah. Wow.
This was also his first final in 4 years. His last final was the very first Yongseong,
Right.
where he lost to Kim Ji-seok. And now, so he hadn't made a final in 4 years, and now he's made 2 in the same month.
Right.
Of course, he's made the current Yongseong final, where he'll be playing Shin Jinseo.
Right.
And if he wins that, he'll be one of a very exclusive club of Koreans that have won 10 titles in their careers.
Right.
Of course, Park Junhwan is a member of that club. Park Junhwan has won 34 titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, what a champion, Kang Dongyun.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously international title holder. Twice, won it twice, 2 titles.
Yeah, he won the Fujitsu Cup as well.
Yeah, so definitely a very, very, very strong player, and still coming back. I mean, it's rare to see over 30-year-olds winning titles in China. It's really tough, but in Korea, these top pros, they can kind of continue into their 30s, so which is really good.
He also won I think he also won, there was a Mind Sports Olympiad about 10 years ago, and he won that.
Right.
I'm not sure if those games are actually official games. I don't think that's part of his 9 titles.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, he did win some sort of international world mind sports competition. It wasn't the Asian Games, it was something else.
Right.
But yeah, he's a very, very well-known player. He's been around for so long.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and obviously still kicking butt. Well done to him. And I look forward to the Yongseong final against Shin Jinseo.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's the YK Construction Cup. Let's stay in Korea and move to the Myungin, which has held its elimination rounds this week. And
Yes.
not all the games are on reported here, but let's cover the big one first.
So just a quick sort of background. I'll send you that link again. This link doesn't have the results, by the way, but it has the format.
Right.
So the Myungin is a 16-player tournament, but it's double elimination. So essentially, once you lose a game, you go into the losers bracket, and from there, if you lose, you're out.
Yeah.
So last week, it was just the round of 16 games to determine, who would go onto the quarterfinals and who would go to the losers bracket. And now the 8 players in the losers bracket, they played their first elimination games.
Yeah.
So there were 4 games today, and these were all elimination games. So whoever lost was out. So essentially this week the field was reduced from 16 players to 12.
Yeah.
And the first of those games was, between 2 of the most popular players in Korea.
Yeah.
Korean number 3, Byun Sangil, and Korea's number 1 women's player, Choi Jong.
Yeah.
I think both of them were. I think it was a little bit surprising that both of them ended up in the losers bracket so early. But that's what happened, and one of them would be going home early, and it ended up being Choi Jong that lost.
Yes. Yes. So Byun was just basically too strong for Choi in this one.
Yes.
And I believe the head-to-head is 4-0. Before this game might have been 3-0.
I believe they're head-to-head. I think there's a game without a key, not in Kifu Depot. So it was 4. I believe it was 4-0 before this game.
Right.
So it's now 5-0. Choi Jong hasn't beaten Byun Sangil yet. But it was I did watch the game, but I don't think there's really that much to talk about. Choi Jong was just essentially outread, I think.
Yeah. So what about the rest of the results? You want to quickly go through?
Yeah, the other games. Okay. So Hongmu Jin played, I believe, Kim Si-dong. Let me just quickly check. Yes, Hongmu Jin played Kim Si-dong, and Hongmu Jin won that by 2.5 points.
Right.
The third game was Cho Wang-kyu versus Kim Seung-jun, also known as Blackie, the veteran in the field.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Kim Seung-jun did lose to Cho Wang-kyu. I say unfortunately for fans of Blackie.
Yeah.
Of course, Cho Wang-kyu also has his fans, of which I am one of them. But Cho Wang-kyu did win by 3.5 points.
Right.
And the final elimination game, Lee Ji-hyun, who the player who managed to beat both Shin Jinseo and Kang Dongyun in the Weiqi Construction Cup, he beat Seol Hun-jun.
Right.
So that means Choi Jong, Kim Si-dong, Kim Seung-jun, and Seol Hun-jun, they all are now out of the Myungin.
Yeah.
They all lost their first 2 games, so it had to happen to some of those people. And I think Choi Jong is the biggest name to go out so early.
Yeah.
She didn't actually qualify. She was given a wild card, but still, I think she had. It was going to be a tough draw for her, even if she did win her first round game, because her second round game, if she won, it would have been against Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
So she probably was going to see herself in the losers bracket quite early, regardless. But I think she would have wanted. Obviously, she would have wanted to at least get a win on the board.
Yeah.
I don't remember if she won a game. She was also given a wild card in last year's Myungin. I'll just quickly check if she actually won a game in that one. I have a feeling she won her first round game that time. Let me just quickly check.
Right.
She did.
Right.
Yeah, she won her first round game against Kogwante.
Yeah.
But she didn't win her second round game, and then she lost to Hyun Yu Bin in her first game in the losers bracket. So she went 1-2 last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year she went 0-2, unfortunately.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but you know that can happen, and you know.
Yeah. So we in the Myungin, the big guns are still in there, and most of them are still in the winners bracket. So we got your Park Junghwan still in there.
You got Shin Min-jun.
Won Sung-jin, Shin Min-jun still in there. Kim Ji-sok still in there. Of course, Jinseo. So the winners bracket is probably still where the cream of the crop is. Of course,
Yes,
Sangil
and the next round of games will be the quarterfinals of the winners bracket, because the players still remaining in the losers bracket, they will be playing whoever loses these quarterfinal games.
Right.
And only 3 of the quarterfinals will be played next week. Shin Jinso's game is delayed for a week because Shin Jinseo has the Yongseong final next week. So there'll be 3 Myungin games next week, but we'll report on the results in the next podcast.
Yeah.
It does look like so. Again, like most tournaments in Korea here, this isn't a title holders tournament. So Shin Jinseo won the Myungin last year, but he's not really defending the title. He's trying to win it again, essentially.
Yeah.
But regardless of the fact that he has to go through the tournament like everyone else, he is still. You have to consider him the favorite just based on, you know, his performances. Well, throughout the last 18 months, I guess.
Yeah, so, I mean, he definitely is still the favorite, very much so. So, yeah, we shall see.
And you have to remember that this isn't a single knockout. He has, like, to be eliminated to lose the Myungin, you have to lose twice.
Right, yeah.
And Shin Jinseo, you know, it's hard enough beating him once, it seems. And Byun Sangil actually won 3 games against him in the Myungin last year. He beat him in the first round he beat him in the round of 16, and then he beat him twice in the final.
Yeah.
He won 2 games off him in the final, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It's just hard luck sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like Shin Jinseo is still the favorite, and he's likely to win his next game against Sim Jae-ik. But
yeah.
You know, there's still a lot of good players there.
Yeah, still a lot of good players. So
including the legend An Cho Young. Can't ride it off yet.
Yeah, he's the second oldest player in the field at 43, and he actually made it past first round. So that's pretty good.
Yep.
All right. So that's not the only other major Korean competition that's happened this week. There was also the GX Caltex Cup.
Yes.
Which had its semi-final yesterday and today. Yeah.
Yes, the semi-finals of this were played this week, and it featured 4 great players, but 3 superstars.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Shin Jinseo playing Park Jinsol.
Yeah, Park Jinsol. Yeah.
And today was Park Junghwan versus Byun Sangil. So that's 3 of the top. That's the top 3 players in Korea were all featured in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
So yesterday was Shin Jinseo versus Park Jinsol.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you wanted to discuss anything about this game.
Well, I just want to show you the beginning. Now, this is what I feel about the game after having gone through it. Basically, it feels like was it Park Jinsol was just a little bit intimidated, you know, by Shin Jinseo, in that he basically just, you know, got himself into trouble much early. So in this game, Shin Jinseo is white, Park Jinsol is black. So I'll show you the moment in the game that I found really interesting. It happened reasonably early. So I mean, all throughout all of this play here, it's fairly even. So at this point, instead of just connecting, so Park Jinsol decides to, you know what, I'm not gonna just connect. I'm just gonna do something here. Okay, just watch me do this. Okay, so he plays all of this stuff. Okay, and this is perfectly fine. You notice that this is a solid eye here. Alright, so black's got one eye, and black can easily make another eye down here. So okay, cuts, nice. It's okay. So black plays here. Now Atari. Now, because this is a solid eye, black only has to connect, and this group is alive. Okay, so this would be fairly even. Black, because black completely alive, white's got some cutting point, so white can't really build a Moyu. So there's a lot of stones here, but there's no big potential. So it's still very, very playable for black. And so instead of connecting, what does black do? Black goes, nah. So he starts doing all this cute stuff. All right. Oh, cut, do this, and ended up losing this eye. And this eye, which was solid before, is now gone. And the whole reason it's gone is because he let white connect here. He cut. It's trying to be cute. Cut, and then white connect, and then white throw in. This eye is gone. So now black doesn't have two eyes. Right. Just all because instead of connecting, he decided to do this thing where he pushed through. And this is all Park Jinsol's choice. Like it's not got nothing to do with Shin Jinseo. Jinseo didn't even have to do anything. Shin Jinseo was just responding to his moves, and ended up being okay. This corner is dead, but this is the best possible for white to be dead, if that makes sense. Because of course a corner a 5, that's got the most liberties. So, but now because white is like this, black isn't fully alive. Kills this eye as well. So so it ends up being just a capturing race, but white got really thick because white's got captured these stones here. All of these are captured. So that's the moment in the game that I wanted to show. But how it made me feel was that it feels like Park Jinsol was kind of intimidated by Shin Jinseo. He goes, no, I can't. I can't just play normally. I have to try to outread him. I try to have to crush him in a local area. Instead of just playing the safe move, he just decides to do all this stuff, Atari, and end up making himself much worse in the process. So that was very interesting to look at. And so that's why I got out of the game. I probably won't go through the rest because it's just after that it's just I think the game ended at 138 moves, and Park Jinsol just didn't want to continue playing after this.
And with good reason.
It's this black group. This corner is not alive. This black group is probably half dead. This one.
Wait, which black group is half dead?
This one.
No, that's fully dead.
Yeah, I mean, there's some RG and stuff.
Oh, there's RG, but I mean, not enough to even bother continuing the game.
Yeah, no. So it's just maybe there's some RG here. So but it's definitely not going to win the capturing race versus this one, I guess.
This wasn't a good game for Park Jinsol fans, I'm afraid.
No. To the limited number of fans out there for Park Jinsol, I'm very sorry.
Oh, harsh.
Yeah, very harsh.
Okay. But so that puts Shin Jinseo into his 5th straight GS Caltex Cup final.
Yes.
And what's even more incredible is that he actually won the other 4 times he was in it.
Yeah. So he's won it 4 times consecutively.
Yeah. Which has never happened before in the GS Caltex Cup.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this. This just happened like today. Sangil beat Park Junghwan to go into a final with Shin Jinseo.
Yes. So interestingly, I checked, and Park Junghwan has made the final of the GS Caltex Cup just once.
Right.
And that was 11 years ago.
Oh wow.
And he won it, but he hasn't even made the final since then.
That's crazy for Park Junghwan.
Yeah. That's pretty I found that surprising. And Byun Sangil. So I wanna go to move 69 here.
69, yep.
Okay, so you can see there's a ko here, right?
Yeah.
Right, and so black just made a ko threat, yes?
Yes.
And So it seems like White has to respond to this co.
Well, yeah, I mean, just Atari, I guess.
Yeah,
Seems,
no,
it seems,
just connect, right?
yeah,
And even if Black wins this co, I'm assuming White doesn't really have a. So say Black takes the co now,
yeah.
and say White plays something like E17,
E17, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Black just ignores it and plays there. White's still not dead in the bottom left.
No, because connecting under and taking Miai.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess Black
White's
can
not
come out.
even. White's not even. Yeah, White. It's not even Gote,
It's
right?
it might be dangerous. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe White doesn't want to lose those 3 stones,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but still,
yeah,
what I think what White did, because White also has, White's also made those 2 moves in the top left corner as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But White didn't play that, so White didn't respond to the co threat. White filled in the co. I don't understand that.
Yeah, no, I find this really odd because I I would say this is obviously better for Black, but I did remember watching the Kifu, and I think White had a plan, which is just to well, you
Um,
see actually once he connect this, I think also like uh if White turns here, so White can capture these things, right? I think this is a safe thing to do, and then somehow attack this Black group.
okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, but it does. Anyway, it feels to me that it's bigger for Black.
It does seem like it's a bit bigger for Black though.
Yeah.
Especially
Um.
like look at the size of that top right corner and those 3 stones,
Yeah.
connected stones.
Yeah. Like
Like
this.
they're
This is gone.
probably
This is gone. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. But I think Park Junghwan was like, maybe either he had a misread or whatever, but he decided to play here first. And Sangil was very very clever. He just like, nah, you're not taking that one. And then Park Junghwan, maybe sensing he's a bit behind, goes, okay, I'm gonna capture all of these and just play here. And of course, Sangil just moves out. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was over it. I think it was over at this point.
Yes. So spoiler. Yeah. Sangil's group didn't get captured. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
didn't.
So Byun
Plan.
Sangil saves
Yeah.
the bottom stones,
Yeah.
and he escapes with the
Yeah.
middle group.
And
So
he won the co. So basically, if you look at the result, basically White by filling in the co only saved these stones here,
yeah, which doesn't
which is yeah,
which
which is
doesn't remotely make up for
yeah.
what he lost in the top right.
But at some point, Park Junghwan did decide to channel Lee Xuanhao, but I think it didn't work out for him either. So yeah, okay, well that was that. So now Byun is in the final.
And that's actually a repeat of last year's GS Caltex Cup
Yeah,
final.
is that a best of 5?
It is a best of 5, and
Yeah,
Shin Jinseo won that 3-2
yeah,
last year.
yeah,
So Byun Sangel is hoping that he can go one better.
yeah. Now, do you remember the original date for the GX Caltex Cup final?
What do you mean the original date?
Or I think it was around early August.
Yeah, I thought it was around early August, but I think that they've
It's
moved.
disappeared. It's disappeared.
Yes.
For a good reason, and I'll spoil it. It's for the Jia League return.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So we might talk about that when we look at the calendar again. But that's what's happened.
What? No, let's talk about it now.
Yeah. Well, the Jia League supposedly, according to various different reports, is gonna return on the 2nd or 3rd of August. In the same city in which they play the Yi League, which we might quickly talk about later on.
Oh, the Yi League. How about we
Yeah,
talk about the Yi League now?
yeah. Well, that's a great segue into the E League, which just happened. Now, the E League happened over maybe the span of just under 2 weeks, maybe. It was eight
It was
rounds.
literally 8. It was 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks. It was 8 rounds. And basically, yeah, each round is a team versus a team. So each team puts out 4 players, and I believe if you win 3-1 or 4-0, you gain 2 points, and if you draw like 2-2, you gain 1 point, And of course, if you lose, then you don't get 0 points. Now, usually Japan and Team Taiwan both put out a team, but this year, because the schedule was changed so many times, and it just happened so suddenly. I think Team Japan just didn't have the time to put together a team. So
I'm not sure if it was they didn't have the time or they just weren't capable of fitting it into their schedules.
yeah, it could be either of those. I mean, theoretically, if you just say, okay, who can fit in the schedules, you for sure you'll find 4 players, but but it's
because I think the Yi League you had to have exactly 4 players. You couldn't have reserves or anything like that, right?
no.
So
I do
that
believe it's
definitely
only
would have
4.
hindered a Japanese team.
Yeah. So now notice that this is the year 2022, and they played the 2021 Yi League because it's been delayed so much, and I think they just have to play the Yi League because they already determined who the relegated team were from the Jia League, so they have to kind of figure out who gets promoted from the Yi League, so they have to play it. And
So
after
they
8
had to
rounds,
play the 2021 Yi League before the 2022 Jia League.
it can happen. Now, what that means is because the Yi League only finished around the 21st of July, and the Jia League, if it begins in the 2nd of August, the team, they only have 10 days to do a few things. One is find sponsorship. Second is recruit more players, potentially organize for one import to play. So that's a lot of work for
So
10
we're
for
specifically
10 days.
referring to the teams that got promoted from the Yi League to this 2022 Jia League.
Correct.
And who are those teams?
Well, there's 2 teams. One has got a sponsorship already, the Shanghai China Mobile. Of course, China Mobile is one of the biggest telecom companies in China.
Lovely.
So they sponsor the Shanghai team. So I think Shanghai might have more than one team in the Jia League. But anyway, so that Shanghai China Mobile, one promotion. The other one is Kaifeng. Now, Kaifeng was a little bit of a surprise packet because in the last round, Shanghai has already earned promotion. Basically, they got 11 points out of 8 rounds. But I believe before that last round, there's another team, Shanghai Qingyi, and another team, Shenzhen Qinghutong, were both on 10 points. So they were just only 1 point shy of Shanghai, and Kaifeng was only on 9 points. Now remember, a win earns you 2 points. So basically, Shanghai, Shenzhen will both have to lose, and Kaifeng have to win for Kaifeng to leapfrog both of these. And
that's exactly what happened.
And that's exactly what happened. And I listened to this podcast by this Chinese reporter, and he was like, "Oh, that's like one of the most unlikely, things that will happen." But that's exactly it's happened. So Kaifeng is now in the Jia League, and along with Shanghai China Mobile, and so Shanghai China Mobile is made up of Liao Xingwen, Hu Yaofeng, Chao Zijian, and Chen Jiaye. So I do recognize the name Liao Xingwen. I believe he was a regular Jia League player, but he just probably weren't playing as regularly. Chen Jiaye, I definitely seen him in the Jia League before, so they might have just been demoted like the year prior. This team. So, and Kaifeng is made of Wang Xi, Kang Seungmin, Liu Zhaoze, and Yang Yundong. I only recognize Wang Xi and Kang Seungmin, to be honest. Kang Seungmin, of course, we talked about him a few times on the podcast, a strong Korean player. I don't think he's ranked in the top 10 in Korea at the moment.
No, he's not ranked in the top 10. Anyone ranked in the top 10 is probably playing in the Jia League. He's ranked 18th.
Right, 18th. Okay, so yeah. And Wang Xi, of course, is a very, very strong player from the past, like maybe Guli's generation. We talked about him before. He's won the Asian TV Cup.
Cup, yep.
That's a fast competition. I believe he he made a final of the Samsung Cup, losing to Lee Sedol. I believe so.
Anyway. He made the final of the Samsung Cup in 2004.
Yeah. So
he did lose to Lee Sedol. He's won the CCTV Cup.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm only talking about international
He
competition
won
they
that
won.
9 years ago.
Right. So he definitely is very good at fast games. I believe he was.
You're on
Yeah.
mute, ZJ. I mean, you're on mute, Zelda.
I am. I am.
But
I'm pretty sure it's just
um,
an internet issue because I'm not
just
on mute.
want to briefly discuss or go over the records of the Korean players
Yep.
in the Yi League. Do you have the records of the Korean players?
I I I I I I don't, but I
I do,
yeah, okay.
so I can tell you.
Yeah, okay.
They actually it was a so there were five. I believe there were five Korean players
Yep.
in the Yi League. Kang Seung-min, Sim Jae-ik, Lee Chang-seok, Park Sang-jin, and Seo Hyun-jun.
Yep.
All of them are in the top 40 in Korea,
Yep.
and most of them had shaky starts, especially in the first two rounds. Most of them lost their games,
Yep.
but they actually all ended up with winning records. So
Yeah.
they all found their form. It took them a couple of rounds to get into the groove of the Yi League, but they
Yeah.
did end up finding their form. Lee Chang-seok and Park Sang-jin both ended up with 5 wins and 3 losses.
Right.
Kang Seung-min, Sim Jae-ik, they both played only 7 rounds, but
Right.
they ended up with 5 wins, 2 losses.
Right.
So very strong records, and obviously Kang Seung-min's performance helped his team earn promotion.
Right.
Seo Hyun-jun, he had 6 wins and 2 losses.
Right.
So they all had very very similar records. And yeah, a pretty strong performances in the end.
Yes. I do remember reading an article saying that collectively the Korean imports in the Yi League have won about 70% of their games.
Yes, it's about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which was an
they
improvement.
combined they had 26 wins and 10 losses.
Yep. Well, according to this article, it says 26 wins and 13 losses. I'm not sure. Maybe that's right. I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry, 12 losses.
Yeah.
12 losses.
Right. It says 13 losses here, so I don't know who's right. But anyway, the other thing is last year or the last Yi League, which is 2020, their win rate was only 60%. So they have improved a good 10%. So won
Yes.
about 10% more games. So
Yeah.
anyway, so
There
that's
may have been 13 losses. I was only getting the records off Kifu Depot. So they may have missed the game.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but it's like some of these articles they sometimes get things really wrong. But anyway, that's Yi League. Of course, really looking forward to when Jia League happens. I hope these teams manage to get a good input. I mean, if I'm not really sure if Kaifeng would just go, yeah, we're now in the Jia League. Sorry, Kang, we don't want you anymore. We're gonna get a better import. I don't know how he would feel, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, the thing is, there's not really that many imports available if if the other imports are sticking to their teams. I mean, Ichiriki Rio's team got relegated.
Yeah, so
He's without a team.
Yeah.
The only Korean player I could think of that's really strong and wasn't in last year's Jia League is Kim Young-hoon.
yeah. Oh yeah, Kim Min, he could get a spot. Yeah, there's no news yet out of who the imports are. So yeah.
Yeah, he should definitely be trying to get a spot. I would say that last year I would have wanted to see Lee Chang-seok in the Jia League.
Right.
He hasn't really, in the last 12 months or the last 9 months or so, he hasn't really improved his results much. So
No, he seems to have dropped off because I believe he was top 10 in Korea.
he was top 10. Now he's 11th, so he's
Yeah.
still there or thereabouts, but he
Yeah.
hasn't really. I was thinking he would get into like the top 6 or top 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But he stagnated a little bit. I still would like to see him in the Jia League. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind seeing every team have an import.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Korean players that could benefit from playing in the Jia League, but
Yeah.
it's it is what it is. And if there's only one more spot available for a Korean, I would pick Kim Young-hoon.
Yeah. Yeah. It does feel like the the obvious choice because his
Yeah.
name popped
Of
up
course,
so many times. Yeah.
Of course, it seems likely that Lee Dong-hoon won't be playing in the Jia League.
Yeah.
So his
Yeah.
team might have an import slot available.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Okay, so that's about the league, and we're gonna have an innovation, and this innovation is we're not gonna see Ichiriki playing Yuta in a title match. and the reason why that's happened is because we have the 47th Meijin League has just completed yesterday. Now, not all the results are here, but the result that was not here is inconsequential to who the challenger was. So
Inconsequential to the challenger, that's right.
correct.
Yes.
Now this is the last round basically, and I think they try to play the game simultaneously, just so that there's no cooperation of some kind. So we got Shibano playing against Hane Naoki, and Shibano won that one. Hane just brought it upon himself the loss. And you got Yamashita playing Yu Chengqi. That's a bit inconsequential. But before the last round, Shibano was on 6 wins. And in a league of 9 players, you only get to play 8 games. So Shibano only had to play the last game, but he was on 6 wins. Ichiriki was on 5 wins before the last game. So Ichiriki basically had to win it to match.
He had to win, and Shibano had to lose.
Correct. For
and
them,
in that case, there would be a playoff for the challenger between the two.
Yeah.
Any other scenario, and Shibano would challenge.
Correct. And as we talked about, as we said, Shibano actually won the game, so it doesn't really matter what Ichiriki does in his game. But I do remember after Shibano have won the game, Ichiriki was still going in his game. Maybe he didn't know what happened. So or maybe if he did, he just his professionalism just makes him want to do his best in every game. And they played really late, I believe.
That was a very late finish. Yes.
Yeah. So but anyway, it didn't. Despite his efforts, it didn't go Ichiriki's way. But I believe Ichiriki also won his game.
He did win his game. Yeah, he did win his game. So he ended up with 6 wins.
Yeah.
And he finished second in the league, which, but
Well,
no challenge for him.
So so this time it will be Shibano challenging Iyama for the Meijin title. Now, of course, Shibano have won the Meijin before.
Yes, the youngest ever.
The youngest ever, but it's a little bit dramatic because Shibano didn't win the title off Iyama. Because the year prior to Shibano's challenge, Choyu played Yuta, and Choyu surprisingly won the series 4-3. So Choyu took the title from Yuta. And then the next year, Shibano became the challenger. So Shibano challenged Choyu and basically demolished Cho and won the title. So that's how Shibano became the youngest ever Meijin at 19. Of course, Iyama took the title back, and after a couple of years, Shibano's back.
Iyama defended it against Ichiriki Ryo last year.
Right, yeah. And now Shibano's coming back.
Yes, to try and win the title. No, Shibano has won title matches against Iyama.
Yeah.
Just not in the Meijin.
Yeah. He might have won the Oza.
Yes, I believe the Oza.
Yeah. Okay.
Not sure who he won. He also won the Judan title. Not sure if that was against Iyama.
Right. He might have been against Shu. Can't remember.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Chu because that was Chu's.
Right.
Chu hasn't lost the Judan title. He's only won it.
Yeah.
It was against Daisuke.
Yeah, that's
Murakawa.
okay. Yeah, that'll make sense. Yeah.
But I'll just quickly check who Shibano won the Oza against.
Yeah.
It was against Iyama.
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah. Okay. So that was really nice. Now.
Yeah, but what did you want to say something else?
No,
I just want to quickly go over the final standings in the Meijin League because all of the games have actually finished.
Yeah.
So we don't actually have all the games listed up here, but I will tell you what happened.
Yeah.
So as we said, Shibano did finish on 7 wins, so he is the challenger. Ichiriki on 6 wins is clear second place. Now, there are 9 players in the Meijin League, and only 3 get demoted. The bottom 3 get demoted.
Yeah.
So you just have to finish in the top 6, which means you can probably 6th place probably will have a losing record, and they'll still stay in the league.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a once you get into the league, it's easier than most other leagues to remain in there. But Yamashita had 4 wins. Shida Tatsuya also had 4 wins, and Yu Zhengqi had 4 wins.
Wow.
And all of them, so they all finished 3rd to 5th.
Right.
And they stay in the league. Now on 3 wins, we have Su Shawan,
Yeah.
Hane Naoki,
Yeah.
and Ida
Game
Atsushi.
started.
Right.
Now, Su Shawan, he had the highest finish in last year's Meijin League, and your finish in the previous year's league is the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So
You have won.
since there were 5 players with more than 3 wins, only one of these players stays in the league, and that ends up being Su Shawan,
Yeah.
which means Hane Naoki and Ida Atsushi both get demoted. Ida Atsushi had actually qualified for the Meijin League. This year he beat Ji Yimin.
Yeah.
So he has to. So it's not really demotion. It's just that you have to re-qualify.
Yeah.
So Ida Atsushi is going to have to do that 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Oh wow.
The other, so Hane Naoki, he will have to re-qualify next year, and Motoki Katsuya, he finished last with 2 wins, and so he'll also have to qualify again next year.
Right.
Basically, if you finish in the bottom 3, you have to win to re-qualify. You have to win 3 games
Right.
without losing 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so that's a pretty interesting finish to the Meijin League, but I do want to show you.
Congratulations to Shibano.
Yeah, Shibano, awesome. So good to see. I mean, of course, as I mentioned, I mean, we've recently it's all been Ichiriki versus Iyama. So this is something new for a while. So this is just one. This is the moment I want to show you in the game. So it came. It's very like well, I'm not sure if it's a very fighting game, but at this point there's a huge fight. Of course, Shibano is known in terms of for Japanese player. He's very good at fighting. I believe. Hane maybe not so much. I think I've known him as more like a solid player. But Hane is black here, decides to pick a fight that he has no right to over here. So, but it's very complicated. You can't fault him for trying something. So, you see this black group nothing's connected. It's not doing anything. But this black group, this white group is also got some connection issues. But so yeah. But anyway, black just decided to fight, which is a bit unreasonable. So yeah. So I mean, white is in a little bit of a danger as well. But look at this. So Shibano just played perfectly here. If forced black to make this trade, black has to come out, and then white escapes, and black still has to come out, and white managed to live here as well. So good life and death. Yeah. So that's what happened.
Wait, is that white group alive? Looks pretty dead to me. Why can't black play underneath? At the top left.
play underneath.
Oh no, so okay, my
Atari,
bad.
throw in
Yeah,
Atari.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just keep Atari.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Q level abilities there.
I'm sure you've seen it, but so White stays alive. But anyway, after this big fight, Black didn't get much out of it. It's just running this group, and White come out all of the way here, keep attacking this Black group, and also stayed alive in the corner. Nothing Black could do. I mean, on the top side. So yeah, it was a good game for Shibano. So
Yeah, real solid game here.
Yeah. But it all started when Hane decides to fight here. Just put it up a bit unreasonably, but yeah. So that's the Meijin, and I believe that's everything in the main line that we wanted to cover. Is there anything else you wanted to cover in this episode?
Yes, I want to cover a youth tournament in Korea.
Oh yes, that's right.
So it's called the Chanseok Tournament for Gifted Students, or something like that.
Yep.
So it's named after it's a youth tournament. It's like a rookie tournament, but there is a separate Korean tournament called the Rookie King or something like that.
Yeah.
This one's the Chanseok Tournament for Gifted Students. Now, in Korea, there's basically 3 different paths to becoming pro. There's the main sort of pro qualification.
Yep.
There's the women's qualification, so women could, go through their own qualification.
Yeah.
And then there's sort of a gifted path qualification, and that's typically for very, very young pupils, like prodigies.
Mm.
And I think Shin Jinseo was actually the first ever student to earn promotion,
right?
To earn their pro qualification through that gifted program,
right?
And this tournament is essentially it's not exclusively for those gifted students, but it's basically like an under 17 tournament, an under 18 tournament,
right?
So typically for students that go through the gifted program, but anyone that's young enough can compete in it. Now, it's named after Chanseok, a legendary Korean player who unfortunately passed away in 2010.
Mm.
And I think this tournament was started just a couple of years after his death, sponsored by Hapcheon County. And the very first edition of the tournament was in 2013, and it wasn't a tournament. It was rather a set of exhibition games where some players, some of these gifted students would play against, the cream of the crop in Korean professional Baduk.
Yeah.
And it's a bit astonishing, I think, when you see the names of these exhibition players in the inaugural Chanseok tournament.
Yeah.
The gifted players were Shin Jinseo, Shin Min-jun, and Byun Sangil.
Right.
That was 9 years ago, and they were considered to be gifted students. They're now, all of them are now in the top 5.
Yeah.
In the Korean rankings.
Yeah.
So obviously the gifted program worked pretty well.
Yeah.
And they played against, so I'll just quickly check. Okay, so Byun Sangil played against Lee Se-dol. Lee Se-dol won. Shin Min-jun played against Choi Cho-han. Shin Min-jun won. Right?
Mm.
And Shin Jinseo played against Lee Chang-ho, and Shin Jinseo won.
Right.
Shin Jinseo was 12 years old at the time, by the way.
Right.
So, and he hadn't even won, these weren't actual official games, these were exhibition games, so they didn't count on the official record. Shin Jinseo hadn't actually won an official game yet in his professional career when he beat Lee Chang-ho. So, quite an astonishing start to his career, I would say.
Yeah.
And That was the first edition of the tournament. From the second edition onwards, they actually had a tournament amongst the young players.
Yeah.
And typically then whoever won that would play against the top pro.
Right.
So, that would be someone like Lee Chang-ho, typically, or Lee Se-dol. And then, as the years went on, that top pro would be Park Junghwan. And in the last 3 years, the top pro has been Shin Jinseo himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sort of started off as an exhibition between gifted students and top pros, and over the years it's more sort of focused on the actual youths playing against each other, with just the one exhibition game after the tournament's finished. And so in this year, we have if you go to that first image,
Yep.
that lists the 2 finalists. So Kwon Hyojin
Yep.
and Kim Beomseo.
Yep.
So Kwon Hyojin, I don't know too much about him except for the fact that he shares his name with a legendary women's player.
Right.
Who's actually she's actually a manager of she used to play in the women's league, and I think she now actually plays in the seniors league. But she also managed. She's the coach of one of the women's league teams now.
Right.
But obviously she's not related to this Kwon Hyojin. But curious to know there are 2 people named Kwon Hyojin in professional Baduk.
Yeah.
And Kim Beomseo actually he holds the record. He turned pro last year, and he holds the record for the shortest time after turning pro before winning a title.
Wow.
So he won a title, I think, 3 months after he turned pro.
Right.
Let me check. So he turned pro in May last year, and he won a title in September.
Right.
So less than 4 months after turning pro. For comparison, Shin Jinseo hadn't even won a game 4 months after turning pro.
Right.
And now, so the first game of the final was on, when was it? It was on Wednesday. Yes, it was on Wednesday, and it was a very close game. Like it was very close throughout the game. In the end, Kim Byun-soo, he was ahead by 1.5 points when Kwon Hyojin resigned.
Right.
So Kim Byun-soo is ahead 1-0. It's a best of 3 final, and games 2 and 3 are both being played tomorrow. Well, game 2 will be played tomorrow, and they'll also play game 3 if Kwon Hyojin wins that one.
Right.
But not only are they having this final for the Chanseok Gifted Tournament, but since it's the 10th tournament, it's the 10th anniversary.
Yep.
They're having a special tournament with all of the past winners.
Nice.
Of the Chanseok Gifted Tournament.
Yep.
So if you go through that, if you go through those images, so actually both finalists, stay on the first image, so both finalists this year will be participating.
Yep.
So obviously one of them won't be a former winner, but
yeah.
both of them are going to be playing in this special tournament.
Yep.
Myungin Jung, he won last year, and he also won 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be playing.
Yep.
Hyun Yu Bin, he won the 8th edition.
Yep.
Next, I think, Park Hyun-soo, he's not a very famous name,
Right.
but he won the 6th edition, so he'll be playing. The previous winner is a well-known player, though. Seo Hyun-jun. If you go to the next image.
Yep.
Yeah, he won the 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be there. Park Jong-hoon, if you remember, he was part of the winning Korean League team.
Yep, indeed.
He won the 4th edition, and he'll be playing.
Yep.
Now, like I said, the first edition wasn't a tournament.
Yep.
It was just a series of exhibition games. But the second and third editions, they were a tournament, and they were won by Shin Jinseo.
Right.
and he won't be participating in this
Oh
special tournament.
no. Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure if that's because of his schedule, because he's got he's got the Myungin, the Yongseong, and the GS Caltex Cup.
Yeah.
But I think it's more likely that if he entered, he'd probably just win easily.
Right.
And he's not really the type of person to play in restricted tournaments that don't have players like Park Junghwan, Sangil, players like that.
Right.
So there was probably a mutual decision
Yeah.
that he wouldn't be playing in this tournament. So that only gives 7 players.
Yeah.
They want to make it an even 8 so that
Yeah.
you can make a 3-round knockout. So Lee Yeon
Yeah.
has been, who I think he was a finalist last year
Right.
and a semi-finalist this year. He's been selected as a wild card to participate in this tournament.
Very nice.
So it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be single game knockout.
Yep.
And I think it's starting in August, in early August.
Yep. Cool. All right.
And there's one more thing that I forgot that I want to mention.
Yep.
The IBK Cup.
IBK Cup, yes.
So the women. So we mentioned this last week. The IBK Cup.
Yep.
Is a women's tournament. It's a women's major in Korea.
Yep.
This is the second run-in of the tournament. The first one was last year, won by Choi Jong.
Yep.
And this one's quite notable in that both Choi Jong and Oh Yoo-jin lost in the first round this year. So neither of them will be in the final.
Yeah.
And the semi-finals, so we discussed the first semi-final last week.
Yeah.
But just going over them, the semi-finals were Jong Yoo-jin versus Kim Yoon-ji.
Yep.
And Park Tae-hee versus Cho Song-ah.
Yep.
Now, Kim Yoon-ji and Cho Song-ah are both in the top 5 in Korea.
Yep.
Chong Yoo-jin and Park Tae-hee are outside the top 20.
Yep.
But as it turned out, Jong Yoo-jin and Park Tae-hee ended up winning.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, it was Jong Yoo-jin who beat Choi Jong, and it was Park Tae-hee who beat Oh Yoo-jin. So both of them have now beaten 2 top 5 players in this tournament.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite remarkable. So, and this game, it was an interesting game. I hope that
You mean the Cho Seungah game or the?
Yes, the Cho Song-ah game,
Yeah.
because that was the one that was played this week.
Yeah.
Yes, it was an interesting game. So Cho Song-ah was black.
Yeah.
Park Tae-hee was white, and so Cho Song-ah, she got into trouble quite early on the bottom left.
Yeah. Oh.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, she ended up with a group without a base.
Yeah.
It wasn't in danger of dying, but look at the size of whites. Like, look at the size of that bottom left corner,
Yeah. This thing.
and that's almost like, yeah, that black can't really, like. I'm not really sure how easy it is for black to try and play at the 3-3 or something like that, but
Here, no, that's not gonna happen.
yeah, and you can, so black is behind by quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so essentially, white just needs to on the right side. You can see black has a large moyo,
Yeah.
but
But
basically white just needs to invade on the right,
yeah.
and it's game over. There's not enough points for black,
Yeah.
and in the end, it became a very interesting. It was quite interesting. I was really impressed by how well Park Tae-hee handled her stones.
Right.
Especially, she starts playing stones on the right, around move 100.
Yeah.
It's just like fearless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like essentially, like White needs to make some territory on the right there.
Yeah.
But I guess for pros, it's just not that hard.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure if White is. I would have thought this is just a pro because I would have thought that White is already ahead. Because obviously White's got the head inside Blacks, and
Yeah, no, there is. Yeah, there is.
also there's things like this. There's things like there's a cut here. Things like this. I would have thought this is a probe to see where
Actually,
Black plays.
no, you make a good point there. Yeah.
So okay, so he tries to live. Yeah, like okay.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no, it ended up being a really interesting finish
Cool,
because it turns out that the white stones on the right there
yeah.
aren't a lot like there's not two eyes,
No.
but she ends up killing that black group that I said wasn't in danger of being killed. She ends up killing it in a
this one.
in a quite big capturing race. Yeah.
Ooh. Whoa. Okay. Oh, cuts it off. Oh. Okay. So the yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh, it's a capturing race now. Ooh.
Yeah, and White's ahead by one liberty.
Oh my god, that's not good.
Yeah,
So yeah, she resigned.
Black resign. Yeah, White wins by the capturing race by one liberty.
3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's not that far. Yeah. Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, huge upset. So the final is going to be between Jin, who is number 23 in Korea,
Yeah.
and Park Tae-hee, who is number 28.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a very, very brief background. So Jin, she's a very young player. She's only 16.
Yep.
This is her second final. The first final she played in some generically named tournament called National Women's Tournament or something like that in December last year, and she lost to Cho Seungah in that one. So this is the second final that she's been in. Park Tae-hee, she's 28. She didn't turn pro until she was 19.
Yeah.
So 3 years older than Jin is now. I don't think she's ever made a final. I think this is her first ever final.
Right.
But the way she's played in this tournament, that's surprising to me. I think she's played some brilliant games.
Yeah.
Especially this one against Cho Seungah.
Yeah. So
and I'm a fan of Jin. I think that she's a great talent and she's very fearless in her play. But I have to consider Park Tae-hee to be the favourite here, despite the fact this is her first final.
Right.
I think that her play has been, very clinical and solid. And regardless, this is just like the Japanese Senko Cup. This is 2 unexpected players in the final. And whoever wins will win their first title. And this is a big tournament as well.
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest women's tournaments in Korea. And I'm looking forward to the final.
Yeah. Definitely a huge surprise. Top 5 in Korea all out, and we ended up with 2, ranked outside 20s making the final. So that's kind of very, very interesting. So that's the IBK Cup. Gaza, is it time for the calendar?
Absolutely, yes. Let's do it.
Yes. Okay, so let's look at the calendar, what's happened. Of course, today the GX Caltex Cup already happened. So with the Han Chanseok Gifted Tournament, final game 2 and 3.
Yeah, so like I said, the final games 2 and if needed, game 3 will be tomorrow.
Yep, so that's, and then we have... the Yongseong final, game 1, Jinseo versus Kang Dongyun.
Oh yes, the Yongseong final.
Nice. Of course,
So game 1 is on Tuesday.
Yep.
I I believe games 2 and 3 will be on Thursday and Friday. Of course, they won't play a game 3 if someone wins 2-0.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's Yongseong final. Gosei game 3 comes again, thick and fast. Game 2 and 3. Okay.
This could be the last Gosei game.
It could very well be. Good
Yeah,
chance.
so that's
good
on
chance
Wednesday.
Yeah.
If Iyama wins, it's all over.
All over. Yongseong final, of course, and then and also the Gosei Gun Cup, or as they are known in China, the Wu Qingyuan Cup, which is the international women's tournament. Is it the 4th or 5th? One of them. Can't remember.
It's the 5th, I believe. So that's not until the week after.
Right.
But we definitely should try and preview that in the next podcast.
Yeah. Of course, it's been cancelled. It's been postponed once. It was meant to happen earlier, but I'm really glad that it's happening. And we'll see. And I'm looking forward to filling in the calendar around here with the Jia League to see what's happening there. But that's further in the future. Okay.
Yeah. The next week is definitely filled. All of the important games. Are there. The week after we'll definitely fill it before the next podcast. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. That's everything we wanted to discuss.
I just wanted to quickly go over one of the things that you posted about some new Chinese players.
Right.
Oh damn. You posted. Look, I know this one here. I want to.
This one.
Okay. Which one are you talking about?
You mean the one that where we talked about new pro?
No, not that one. This one. Keep scrolling.
Yeah.
Keep going. This one. Blue,
right.
Orange shirt. Look at this kid.
What?
Look how excited he is.
Yeah.
Man, imagine if everyone had that. Just look at how happy he is. No, forget about him.
Yeah.
The other kid, he's just so stoked.
Yeah, this is
so stoked to play Weiqi. What a legend.
Legend.
Who is that guy?
Okay, so
this kid here.
I might get it wrong, but he might be Wang Chunhui or Hu Zihao. I think. Yeah.
Oh, is he in the Jia League?
Yeah, so this is not the pro qualification. This is the.
No, I know it's not pro qualification. No, but.
Yeah, this is for the Jia League. Yeah. So this is for, I believe, the Hangzhou team. One of them. Basically, they run a like qualification tournament to make the Jia League team, right? So this is that tournament. So player like Jin Yu Cheng, which we shall hear about a lot more in the future, he made the Hangzhou team last year by playing in this tournament. So he was a reserve for Hangzhou Dragon, I believe. Actually, he played quite well for Hangzhou Dragon. Hangzhou, of course, is stacked, so they wouldn't take in any more players. Like that team has got like Jinseo, Shaker, Lian Xiao, Li Qingchen, and
hard to get into that team.
Yeah, that team is a bit tough. But the other team, Hangzhou Dragon, I believe they're like one of the branches of the Chinese Qiyuan. So they run a tournament. So these guys will be playing the Jia League. Hopefully they'll get a couple of games in there.
I hope so.
Yeah. So, and that's what happens. So that's it.
All right, man.
All right, that's another wrap. Thank you, Gaza. I will see you next week.
Sounds good.
Yep. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.